Hi, so I was just watching one of my old videos back about disgust, and I was watching it thinking, oh yeah, it's a prime emotion. But what occurred to me when I was watching it was like, I feel like I'm always like really aware of like, obviously, on level of like social standards, being the slightly autistic person that I am, identifying like obviously what is appropriate, what is inappropriate. But when it comes down to like when it comes down to like cultural standards and stuff like that, you're not going to necessarily like your prime emotion doesn't really it's a different part of your brain. Your prime emotion comes from like your lizard brain, and your cultural standards and sort of like defining what is kind of appropriate as per things like social standards is a level of your kind of logical brain and your middle kind of brain rather than like your prefrontal cortex, like your decision making brain in the moment. um, and I think that's just like really important to acknowledge, because I think also what occurred to me when I was watching it was the fact that people have like different levels of disgust. So like what one person would find disgusting, another person would not, and have much higher tolerance for it. So when you look at things like, like certain things with me, like I feel like it can come down to anything, down to the cleanliness of the environment, how a person acts, because you can get disgusted by a person's actions and the way they act. Because I think a lot of like narcissists, for example, they love to have this like shock value, and I think because of their lack of perception and their neurological deficits that come with that, it's difficult for them to comprehend that it's really quite impactful and creates a lot of emotional disgust within a person. And I think because disgust is like a lesser understood emotion, especially it's like people know about being happy, sad, excited, this, that, and the other, but people don't often think about disgust as being like a prime emotion, even though it is. I think this is where like narcissists can go, and people that don't look at those type of emotions can go for so long evoking so much disgust within people and being like, well, why have you got a problem with me, and being and minimizing it, being like, oh, I haven't done anything to you. But it's like, if someone's acting disgusting time and time and time again, it is going to create one disgust. But what comes with disgust is anger. So people fear their disgust and they fear their anger because of obviously like our need for like social cohesion and stuff like that, which is where I think obviously cultural standards and stuff can come in to navigate that in a sense. But I think it's one of those things to be like, not to gaslight yourself. Like when you look at people and things in particular and people in specific that do disgust you, when it's like maybe there's not like that much like obviously accountability on their end or whatever. At the end of the day, when you do things like EFT tapping, like I do, like emotionally, you will come to your core emotion about something, and it's never to gaslight yourself about that. Um, because people just obviously won't take account for the actions that they have upon others a lot of the time. But obviously, it's a very shocking emotion to feel.